The next genre consideration is moral tenor. And on the one side you have secular tenor, and on the other side moralizing. The moralizing is where the playwright has a specific message they're trying to deliver, probably a moral, a sense that there is a way that human beings are not behaving that the playwright is trying to, in some way, realign them with correct behavior, to purge them of their bad habits. Oedipus Rex is an attempt by Sophocles to eliminate pride from his audience, especially from the rulers, the ruling class in his audience. So on the other hand, a play with a more secular theme, it is really whether the individual, whatever makes the individual happy, whatever the individual can get away with, perhaps, is okay. On the extreme, let's say the low extreme, profane, where actually the purpose is to subvert conventions of morality. It's interesting, does a play like The Importance of Being Earnest, I don't think anyone would come away from that play believing that it's profane, even though he says things like, divorce is made in heaven, or he has one of his characters say something like that, which obviously goes against religious teachings. It's not delivered in such a way that it feels subversive. It's subversive in a playful way, in a lighthearted way. So could you call it profane? I suppose, but it doesn't seem to have that impact. There are plays that are purposefully there to shock the audience by their treatment of taboo. On the other extreme, I call it a sacred tenor. In that case, it's like returning to religious ritual. It is seeking divine communion through the process of drama. If you've read the play Antigone, there's a moment near the end of the play when the chorus is pleading to Dionysus to save their city. In that case, you could, in most modern productions, will play it as if the chorus is acting a religious act of prayer. In the time of Sophocles, was this not itself a religious ceremony? The Dionysian festival, of course. So that moment the play enters, where the chorus is actually acting like priests, invoking one of the gods for divine favor, not just for Thebes, but for Athens at the time. So that's a way of looking at that. Of course, European drama began in the church, where the scenes from the Bible would be played out before the congregation as a means of entering into communion with God. The final genre consideration that I ask you to think about is origins of the story. On one side is fictional origin, on the other is historical, where it would be based on some historical event. Fictional would be that which is made up. On the extreme of the historical side would be documentary drama or documentary film, where everything that is presented is actually as it was. For example, the playwright Anna Deavere Smith tries as best she can to record every word and every gesture of her subjects so that she can repeat them down to small details, like the way someone handles a teacup. That's a kind of care taken with the way that the original characters or people are being presented as characters. It's documentary. It's how close can we get it to real life. On the other extreme of fiction, where fiction, of course, is based on the world that we know, but with characters that don't have any historical referent that at least the audience is aware of. And on the extreme is what we might call fantasy, where even the rules of this world are let go. And so the story doesn't even hold grounding in the rules of the universe as we know them. It enters a realm of fantasy where its only limit is what the human mind can imagine. So those are the 9 genre considerations I offer to you for your next assignment. Go ahead and take one of the plays that we've read in class and a film that you're familiar with, and try to go through and ask yourself, for each of these genre considerations, where does the play or the film fit along these spectra that I've outlined? And notice that you might not have a clear answer. You might say, well, this doesn't really seem to fit, or sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. The goal of an analytical tool like this is for us to begin with the question presented by the genre considerations, and then to investigate the play or the film that we're looking at in particular and saying, well, how does this particular example act